Welcome back to part 2 of Riding the Devil's Whip. I'm your host, Eddie Sprouse, and this ride took place on September 3rd, 2023. I was following a friend of mine, Jeff, as we were making our way up Highway 80. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch it. I'll tell a little bit about the location and the part of the ride that we're filming here, or that I filmed on this day. Again, this is not a ride for novices, and the closer I get to the top of the mountain, you're going to see the curves get more intense and more frequent. There's actually more turns on this road than there is at Dill's Gap or the Dragon, some people call it. And to me, it's a much better road. It's less widely known. There's not as many riders on it. However, you're going to encounter traffic, so you need to be really careful when you're on this road. To keep in mind that you may encounter traffic coming towards you in the opposite lane, people crossing the yellow line, and traffic that might be slower than you that you're going to come up on all of a sudden. On this particular day, I passed an RV toward the bottom of this mountain, and it's a good thing that I got to him early, because if I had met him halfway up the mountain, it could have been a danger for both of us. So just keep those things in mind. As I said in part 1, this road makes its way up from Highway 70 out of the Old Fort, Marion area up to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now it goes on across the parkway and down the other side, but this ride just deals with that part between 70 and the Blue Ridge Parkway. There is a really nice paved overlook at the top of this ride. It's a good place to meet up with your riding friends and talk about the ride, and then plan your next route. Personally, myself, I prefer to ride up this ride from 70 rather than from the parkway down. But if you're a good enough rider and you're a skilled rider, the ride down can be just as thrilling. So again, keep in mind that you want to be very careful with this road. It can, the curves on it can sneak up on you, and the shoulder of the road is not forgiving at all. I mean, it's dirt and gravel and rock, and there are some drop-offs, and you just want to be extremely careful in that. But it is a fun road to ride. Again, I encourage you to ride your own ride. Don't try to keep up with friends or anyone else on this road. Just enjoy this road at a pace that you know you can safely, make it home again at the end of the day. So at this point in the ride, I'm catching up with my buddy Jeff, and the only reason I caught up with him was he got caught up behind a slower vehicle that was making its way up the mountain. And that's not a bad thing. I think Jeff and I both, and our bikes, were both overheated and a little stressed by the time you hit the top, especially if you try riding this road faster than normal. So not a bad idea to slow down every once in a while and just enjoy the ride. Okay, so I'm finally approaching the parking area at the top. As you see, it's a nice wide overlook with several parking places and a beautiful arched bridge. That's part of the parkway system there. The road I'm looking at is part of the Blue Ridge Parkway.